Welcome to the Bonzaar podcast. This episode, we're going to look at Blazing Swan, how it's set up, what do you guys, your roles are, what do you guys do there? So let's introduce yourself to the listeners. Who do we have?
Okay, I am JayJay Sticks. I am currently on the Blazing Swan committee. It's my first year on committee, and I've learned a lot already. And I'm also the arts admin, unofficial title, artsy fartsy in administration, installation administration. And sort of, basically I organise all the art pieces and process the applications and, ask the artists for more information and talk to them, artist liaison, sort of, it's a work in progress of what that role actually is as well, because it's changed over the past 2 years, I believe. So yeah, that's a bit of an iffy one, but yeah, basically I'm the arts person.
And I'm Wesley Lamont. I'm currently doing event management here as well as being on Ranger Ops and Perimeter Lead. I'm not currently on a committee, but I was one of the original founders of the event about a decade ago now. So I'm just kind of still around helping out as I kind of do, I guess.
Well, how has the burn been so far, guys?
Really good, really a bit different. A lot of new crowd. I think we have a lot of new crowd this year.
Seems like it.
Yeah. And the weather's been, everyone was expecting it to piss down with rain. So I think everyone's prepared for like storms, but it's actually been pretty sunny and we've had some nice cold days where you can wear like a, fur jacket and all that. And today's probably, one of the first really like sunny days where it's all clear and all good.
Yeah, it's been lovely for me as well. The weather's been cold, which I've actually enjoyed. Last year was quite hot here. This year's been probably on the opposite end now. It's been quite cold, but yeah, it's been really nice. So yeah, I've been enjoying it like I always do. I like the randomness.
And ops-wise, operation-wise, everything was worked out as it is?
Yeah, it's run actually really smoothly operation-wise. We've had incidents like we usually do, but that's not due to any issues with the operations. It's more due to stuff happening with some of the people and incidents occurring like they usually do, and they've all been handled really well so far. So yeah, it's been quite smooth running operationally.
Let's get into the origin stories, because this is what I like the most, is hearing people's journey into the community, into Burning Man or the Blazing Swan community. JayJay, you want to go first? How did you get involved?
I was invited by Fire Tribe. I used to spin fire with them at the weekly meets in Perth, and they said, oh, there's this thing Blazing Swan. I was like, what's that? And I said, oh, is that like one? I know I've never went to festivals or anything like that, so everything was all new to me. And I said, oh, is that like all these festivals that are getting popular? They said, no, it's not a festival. I was like, okay, cool. So they said, no, it's an arts event. I was like, oh, what does that mean? They described to me and they said, oh, it's it's like every, like there'll be a tent. So there'll be a tent with this kind of music and there'll be a tent with that kind of music. And but nothing they said really like
sounds like a doof to me.
Yeah. Well, I'd never, like, everyone's probably scolded me for saying this, but I'd never even heard of Burning Man. I'm a complete, I like to live under a rock, actually. So it was nothing could have prepared me for what it was. I went with Fire Tribe the first year and had as everyone says, like an emotional up and down year. I wasn't in such a good place. But then met some really beautiful people that like helped me in my bad place. And then I had some good and bad places and absolutely loved it. And basically wanted to come back the next year. So, but then I've been with a different theme camp each year. I don't know if I'm cursing them or something. It might be bad luck for people. I don't know, but it's great. It's good to be with different people every year. And, it means that you end up.
What year was your first place?
To where now? I think it was 2021. It was after there was one that didn't happen because of the COVID. And then I think this was like the first one that happened after COVID that we were allowed. So they were all saying to me, oh no, this is Jenny Craig Blaze. This is Blaze Light, and I was like, oh wow. And they're like, yeah, there's usually way more people than this. But that was actually probably a nice first year to come into, because you could, if you did meet people, you'd still bump into them again. And yeah, whereas it was a big difference the next year where it was a bit more full. I was like, oh, like you might see someone once and then that's it. And yeah, so it was actually kind of nice. I kind of enjoyed Blaze Light.
I'll give my backstory then. So I used to run various conventions prior to Blazing Swan, and I had quite a lot of friends in the fire spinners, and that's basically where I got linked into things. I wasn't a fire spinner myself, just had lots of friends, and a few of those came to me when this idea of running a Burning Man event in WA happened. And a couple of them said, I think you should go along to this committee meeting. What wasn't a committee meeting? Go along to this meeting to talk about, this idea. And at that time, I'd just been burnt out from running another committee with a group of like geeks. And so I pretty much went to this meeting kind of expecting to say no. And I pretty much said, I was the first one there at the first meeting, and just said, unless everyone here is really good, I'm not really interested, I'm afraid. But I said, I'm just here to see how it's going. And everyone was amazing. Like, I could just tell like the passion, the energy and the interest from all those first people. And I was like, okay, yep. They all seem switched on and eager, and I'm willing to step up and give it a crack and see if we can make this idea take off. That's kind of where I got started on it, really.
Yeah, that was 2013, 14 or something.
Oh, that I can't actually remember when that meeting was. So 13 we started. It might have been 2012. That meeting. Right. We did a little mini event up in the hills of Perth, a little Ignite festival, and that got like 300 people. That would have been 2013. The first Blaze of 2014. So I can't remember if that first meeting was 12 or 13. I really can't remember that.
That was 2014 was the first year.
Yeah, that was.
You were involved in that as well, and you were
yes, correct.
You volunteered as the lead ranger, and that's how you got your Blazing Swan handle.
Correct. Yes, that is absolutely correct. I was the lead ranger. I did the temple design. I built the effigy. I was on the theme camp. I was the secretary of the committee, and various other things I can't even remember now.
Do you want to talk about your theme camp, the Insider?
Correct. Yeah, because I had some friends that used to basically drink cider Australia Day and sit down and just rate them all, like do a kind of actual like taste testing thing. And just like, this sounds like something we can totally do at Blazing Swan, is like go down with a shitload of ciders and basically have a massive board of ratings and just let people like hand out ciders throughout the event, and people rate them. And at the end of the event, we have the winning ciders. And that's what we did with a group of my friends, which is pretty good. Though I was so hectic, I didn't really help that theme camp anywhere near as much as I was supposed to. They are invariably looking after me most of that event.
Well, I think you guys ran out of cider on the second day or something.
Yeah, well, something like that. Look, we got lots of donations. We weren't expecting the numbers that there were.
Yeah, well, yeah. Blazing Swan number one.
Yeah. It certainly did way better than we expected. Like, we weren't sure we'd kind of get around 300 people when we first talked about it, and we ended up about 1,200. It was certainly proved that there was lots of interest in the community.
And JayJay, for yourself, how did you get involved into the committee and the community Blazing Swan?
I went to for a long time. I wasn't even aware that there was an organization or a membership that you could be a member of. I'd attended Blaze. So I attended Blaze twice, and then someone, I was dating someone that said, hey, yep, cool. Like, who made me aware that there was a organization, there was an annual, there was like a special general meeting about to happen. So that's when I joined up and I went to that. And things were said in that meeting that really hit home with me, that I was like, okay, I want to be more involved in this. I want to protect this thing we've created, because it has absolutely meant the world to me. So I did my Blazing Swan, for me, has been the doorway into being an artist. So I've made stuff and I've been artsy and everything, but I've never really had a purpose for like for anything, any of my skills. But then, you know, I was going to be with the Stygian Saloon, and this was the year that it didn't happen. There was a year in between where the event had to get cancelled really close to
2022.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So that was the year I was going to be with Stygian Saloon, and I'd actually started making a thing, and I asked James if I could. I said, look, it's a mannequin that I'm doing up to be like a witch, and you know, because we're the swamp saloon. I said, can I put her in the like near the swamp and call her the swamp witch? And so that was going to happen, and so I started working on it, and I was really excited. And then the event got cancelled, and then it was sort of like closer to when it was started to build up again. I was in James's warehouse, and I was talking to him, and you know, and he was talking about art grants, and he was saying, he's like, well, you could apply for an art grant. And I was like, oh, could I? I was like, don't they only give them out to people that are like, I don't know, like, you know, like money earning artists, or, you know, people that are, you know, with degrees,
professional people. Yeah,
professional artists. You know, I was like, no, I'm just I just make stuff, you know. And he said, no, you can apply for an art grant. I was like, oh, I could apply. Oh, I could be an artist. So I applied for my first art grant with the Swamp Witch that was going to be in the swamp the year it got cancelled. And yeah, so that was how I started with art. So that event, yeah, that was my first art piece. And yeah, from there, like just the amount of people that you get feedback from, you know, like watching people view the stuff you've made and, you know, and give you so much love back for it, that really built me up, and it started a passion where I was like, okay, I want to start making more stuff like this. I want to start making props. And yeah, so Blaze means a huge amount for me as an artist, especially the fact that it was like, I didn't have any qualifications. I didn't have, you know, they didn't ask for my experience in terms of like what I've exhibited and, you know, who's previously said yes to me. It was literally like, what's your idea? I got a phone call from the art lead saying, cool, tell me more about it. And yeah, and it was my passion for the project that, you know, that meant that I could receive a bit of money to make the thing. And that meant the world to me. So yeah, so, you know, fast forward to when I'm at this special general meeting, and, you know, and I was like, I want to be more involved and, you know, and protect this thing that's meant the world to me. So that was the meeting where I was made aware that there was a committee. I didn't stand up for the committee then because, to be quite frank, someone stopped me and told me not to. And I was like, okay, yeah, and I listened to that person. And maybe that was a good thing, because when I finally did stand up for the committee and vote and nominate myself this year, I was in a really good place to be able to do it and to be able to take it on. So yeah, so I sort of got voted in the committee this year, and yeah, it's been a really cool journey for me.
And how do you like to, you know, with your leading role now, what's your plans for the future? How do you like to see that evolve, especially with Blazing Swan art?
I think that, like, I've looked a little bit about what Burning Man does. I think that like this year we've kind of had a few mural artists, and we've been able to like put up, you know, their murals on the marquees the org are using and everything. And I'd really like to support like murals a bit more, maybe even have a gallery. I've been to like other festivals where they have a proper art gallery. You know, I've heard that Burning Man has a wicked little like mural structure. Because really, like, murals they take a lot of work. And, you know, like this year I've actually, you know, with the rise of things like Timu and all this like instant art, AI art, I would really like to see us actually support artists who put in so much time and work into creating beautiful things. And, you know, I'm not going to go around telling everyone they can't hang their like amazing Timu bought, you know, mass-produced murals on the walls that are probably ripping off other artists. But I'd really like us to see. I'd really like us to not do that.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, I'd like to see us really support those artists who and kind of stand up against AI. And I know that there's a lot of divided opinions about AI in the org. But I'm anti-AI. Like if someone asked me to help create a logo and they sort of said, hey, like here, we've got this logo and can you just make it, black and white? And I said, where did you get the logo from? Oh, AI. I said, no, sorry. I'm anti-AI. It rips off artists and I won't do it. So it's like, I'd like to see us support that sort of side of things, where an arts event where we recognize that it's hard to be an artist. You don't get, support from people. People won't invest in art like they'll invest in, like say a brewery where everyone can drink lots of booze. They won't invest in art like they'll invest in things that, won't like serve a functional purpose. So I'd like to see us support that and say this is really important to give all these artists all the opportunity in the world to express themselves, but also to get their name out there and to be able to connect with people. I don't want to stop artists from saying, here's my website where you can see more of my art, because it's freaking hard. It's not, and there's been a lot of questions this year around decommodification and, like if an artist is doing an art piece and they have a professional website, if they are an artist that does manage to make a little bit of money off of their craft, there've been questions around, is it okay to let them put their website in the dust guide? I think that's fine, because that's the whole point. We're here to support art. We're not here to say, oh, you can't put your website where you make art on the dust guide because that's commodification. It's like, no, we're here to support artists. That's a big thing for me. Your
thoughts, Wes? Are you an AI guy? Are you a tech guy?
I'm a tech guy, but no, I agree with JayJay as well that I'm not interested in AI used for anything except things that are kind of irrelevant. Like any kind of like promotional thing or public thing should not be using AI, and I certainly wouldn't think it should be used in anything to do with Blazing Swan.
Yeah, it feels like it doesn't belong in the community, but I guess that's how we're progressing. So
yeah, I mean, even in terms of
it's controversial.
Like I know that people have said to me, "Hey, like look, like you should use AI to write a resume." And I'm like, why would I do that? Because then I'm presenting myself as someone I'm not. Like if you write a resume with AI and you turn up to a job interview and they're like, oh, it turns out you can't say all those big words and whatnot. You're not being true to yourself. And
no, you're not being authentic. Yeah.
And we've used AI there's a lot of using AI to write, our lovely corporate schmorporty emails. So we can sound very official. But I'm like, we're Blazing Swan, man. Like, yes, we want to be professional, but let's be human.
Yeah, I think a lot of people go to Blazing Swan for the authentic experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's about human connection. So why would we support AI in anything we do? Sorry, I have some very strong opinions. I might get a bit passionate. Apologies in advance.
Cool, no, and what do you guys think about performance art?
Yeah, I'd like to see us. I know that there have been a few art grant applications for workshops and performance pieces, and I don't know, like I don't think we've ever really defined any of these rules. So this year I was told on the committee, hey, look, there's we have to put some rules in place around why we choose art pieces for art grants. You have to have some criteria, and you have to have some, I was told, oh, look, you have to have a point system. Straight away I went, no, because you can't judge art by numbers. But I said, look, as the responsible committee member advocating for art, but also wanting to appease the auditors, can I please write this criteria so that my aim was to try and make criteria for the art grants that was both going to benefit artists and mean that we weren't going to reject applications because they didn't fit in a box, but also, appease the paperwork side of things where we can justify that we're being fair if we reject a project. So I took that on board as a project. I think I did okay. It still needs work, but yeah. So there was. Sorry, go ahead.
Can we talk about some of the projects that were rejected? I think there was. I've seen it in the social media, in the Blazing Swan community page. Is that the one with the Simpsons? What's the title of the thing? It's quite long.
Do you want the full title? Because it's probably about
sure. I think it's for the listeners out there. I think
look, I'd have to look it up because do you have internet? Do you have No, the full title wasn't. Yeah, no, Wes is getting the guide out. The full title wasn't the guide because
no.
Hang on to see if I can remember one. One was you're an ugly butt face and something butt face, and I'm a smelly butt face, and I like to kiss my own butt.
Yep.
And then the other one was, what's the point in going out? We're probably gonna end up back here anyway, which I've been told are both direct Simpsons quotes. I'm not a Simpsons watcher, so some of the references might be a bit lost on me. Like most people, I probably watched The Simpsons when it was on as a kid. But I'm not a.
Well, it's
I'm not
still
a fan,
running.
so I don't. Yeah, I don't know the quotes they're referencing very well, but they're direct Simpsons quotes.
And what's the story behind that? The theme camp or the art piece and the build?
So
there's also been a documentary made about it as well.
Yeah. So she applied for an art grant and basically said I want to recreate the Simpsons house in Moe's Tavern. And and I sort of said like I kind of like liaised with her a bit, like, so as the I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like maybe in your application, like, put like, what's it, like, what's the point? Like, what's the point of it? And like, maybe put a little bit about, I kind of guided her through it and said like, look, maybe, because we introduced the idea of having like a panel of people as well. So it wasn't just, to my knowledge in the previous year, it's just been, we've just had like the art lead, and the art lead would do like, like if people applied, the art lead would call them and say yes or no, and then that would go to the committee. So this was a part of that selection criteria this year where, we were told, no, you have to have a 5-person panel assess these projects. So I kind of treated it like kind of a little bit more official, where I'm like, okay, like, I'll be your guide to, to make sure the panel has all the information to be able to look at your project and say yes or no. Like, can you put in this and this? So I did sort of like guide her through the process a little bit. And and she said, she wanted to create it and, give people that like feeling of, the feeling of, when you were a kid and everything was safe and, like the connection with the things that we grew up with. And I was like, okay, cool. Then that was, and she did really, like, she gave a really good budget breaking down everything that she'd need the money for. It was quite a large budget, and and she gave her a decent plan, and I said, what's it going to look like on the outside? And she even started to build like a mini model of what it would look like, and I was like, wow, that's cute that you're going to all this effort. That was cool. And I said, cool, great. But it was all presented to panel. And I was in the panel as well. But it was, there were 5 people in the panel sort of said, no, I don't think this is really suitable for Blaze because of the aspect of it that it's, there were a couple of things. I mean, one, I don't actually know if I'm allowed to really talk about this, but I'm a person that's very transparent, and this is the reason why we had the panel and everything, to be transparent about the reasons why we said no to a project. But basically it was, I guess, that was for me, personally, like looking at it, and it wasn't really like, there wasn't a huge element of it that was like original creation, if you know what I mean. Like it wasn't, for me, it wasn't original design. It was like, so, basically like 5 panel members said no, but like I can speak on my opinion personally is that it's great. It's a great thing for people who love The Simpsons. But
pop culture, it doesn't have to be The Simpsons.
Yeah. So it's like, for me personally, art is like, specifically like Blazing Swan art, it's all about supporting stuff that is your own idea that you've gone, oh my God, I want to create this thing. And there's, and we all have like influences. Like I'm inspired by trees. I make big fake trees, and I put a bit of a fantasy element on it. So we're all inspired by things, and you combine things with other things. But yeah, I kind of look at the element of it that the artist has put themselves into. So, like if it, with the mural artist, there's a lot of work where like they're putting the paint on the canvas and they're deciding where that paint goes. They're not using a pattern to decide where it's not paint by numbers. They're deciding where that paint goes, and that's themselves getting put into it. Right. And, but with this piece, I sort of went, well, if you sort of said, okay, well, why are you putting the couch there? Why is the room laid out in that way? Oh, well, the answer would be because that's the way it's laid out in a TV show that I've seen. And that for me is what kind of made it something that, although it's a brilliant effort to make something, and of course it's going to, everyone's emotionally connected with it, which is really great. But for me, that was where it wasn't something that I would like Blazing Swan to give art grant money to, because it was, I would like to see more of, how much of yourself are you putting into this piece? And, the emotions that you're drawing from people, are those emotions, are you drawing those emotions because of something that you've put into it, or is those emotions being drawn because they relate them back to a TV show that they watched when they were a kid? And that for me was why I said no. But I love it as a theme camp. I think it's really great. It's been really successful and loved it. Although we did, it's probably better. I did kind of advise her to take official references to the show out of it, because a parody is where you don't actually mention the original names, right? It's meant to be that you've altered it a little bit so that people can kind of tell what it's about, but it's not directly referencing the original names. And that's why it's a parody. So I think for me, it's a little bit still using original names in the advertising for it, as well as the, in the dust guide, using images from the TV show to advertise the fundraiser. That was a little bit off-putting for me, but otherwise very well done. So happy that she managed to fundraise, and fundraise for it. And, I'm so happy that people enjoyed it. For me, I don't think it was really something that we should be putting as an art piece. I know there's a lot of people that disagree with me, and I'm not throwing any shade to Sarah or her piece.
Sometimes, but sometimes a vision of a build or an art piece can be seen differently, seen the wrong way, or it's different categorized. It probably, like you said, it's fantastic as a theme camp.
Yeah, and it is really hard for the artists to get across their vision. It's interesting to see all the other beautiful projects people put across that in their applications. We're like, oh, okay, yeah. And you kind of just trust that that person's going to bring out something beautiful. And, you just kind of go with the whimsy that they put into it and going, yeah, cool. They've got a cool idea, and let's see what they come out with. And yeah, it's amazing to see the difference, when you look at the pieces out and you go, oh wow, I never would have predicted that it would be like that from their application. So you've got to have such an open mind when you look at the applications, because we're typically artists sometimes aren't actually great at paperwork, as it turns out. Who would have predicted? So I think there's definitely,
it's just like doctors not being able to handwrite,
yeah, and
I get it.
Someone actually said to me, "Oh, what if someone's actually dyslexic, or or even if they're vision impaired?" I was like, "Oh God, yeah, we're not really being very with the application process. We need to offer a bit of help, because definitely if someone's not able to write their idea out, clearly, and we shouldn't be saying no to someone because they don't have the ability to actually express their idea clearly. So I'd like to be able to help, in next year, I'd try and provide a lot more help in, with the applications. And to do that, we need a really clear idea of what we're going to say yes or no to, or, what the criteria is. So that's kind of my mission for the next year. And and if I'm still like, I'm definitely want to stay on the committee. And if I do still stay on the committee, if the members are still voting for me, then that's going to be my mission, is to make this criteria really clear. And it's all going to be with the aim to support artists who have really beautiful original ideas that are, that maybe even like that wouldn't get chosen for what I like to call corporate small pretty art, So yeah, stuff that, if they have the passion for it, and if they have the passion for it, like, I want to support it.
Cool. And what kind of art has inspired you out there, Wez, this year?
I'm always a passionate lover of all the lights and the special effects stuff. That's certainly a big one. Admittedly, they're very obvious and they're very apparent on site. I also love finding random things in random corners, and I haven't done that search this year. I've just been too busy. Like, invariably, you'll find someone set up some little scene or something, like, behind a couple of rocks, which I adore immensely when people put effort into this like tiny little thing that has like almost no visual awareness until you find it. So I've only really seen the big flashy things, which I do love, but there's probably other things out there I probably love more that I haven't even found yet. So that's kind of where I am this year, I guess.
There's been a few I love Renegade installations.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's been a few little where people have arranged twigs and rocks, and I feel like someone made a wedding arch out near the sound camp alley. There was it looked like there was an aisle and a wedding arch there. Yeah, so I love seeing the things that people actually create while they're out here, or maybe they're brought as a kind of a little bit of a secret Renegade thing.
Yep.
Yeah, a little surprise thing. That's cool.
And what about this year's effigy and temple?
What do you want to know about it? Or what's your question?
Well, what do you guys think about it? And what was your how did it compare? And the build,
as a tree lover,
mm-hmm.
I loved and hated this year's temple. So this year's temple design I think it was a beautiful, the whole, it had a kind of wall around the outside of it, and on the inside was this sort of garden of trees, and then there was sort of I think it was based on a tomb design.
I think it was a Celtic, Celtic monument style.
Yeah, so it kind of had a garden and tomb element, and they'd used a lot of natural trees, I'm guessing, obtained from the nearby property, from the with the collaboration with the farmers. So yeah, I absolutely loved it to see a beautiful a natural element put into the temple. I loved there was definitely an artistic twist on it. Absolute fan of Joe's work, and his theme camp is probably my favorite at Blazing Swan. It's got
what's the theme camp?
The Magical Frontier, and they're right up the back of the the whole sort of city, where they utilize the rocks to with candles. They have a live musician, and it's such a small it's like a walk through space. There's a tiny bit of structure, but it's all just utilizing the rocks and the natural landscape. Bit of the saloon feel. Live music, lots of candles, lots of lanterns. It's beautiful and soulful and romantic, and I've always loved going there. And the temple design really reflected his style. I think they had lots of salt lamps, and the tomb was, it kind of looked to me they've created fake rock walls with some render, and and as you walk through, they've used there was a well with where they've used mirrors to make the well look like it was deeper than it was, created fake caverns using mirrors, and it was so beautiful. And so it was kind of bittersweet for me watching that burn, because I was also I love trees and it's using trees. Oh, and now I'm watching trees burn, and that makes me feel sad. But it was so beautiful. And the best thing was someone put a wedding dress up as you walk through the garden into the tomb. Someone put a wedding dress up on the wall with a note, and it's really like, I've heard people saying, oh, did you see that wedding dress? Like it was really like impactful for people. And when I went to look at the temple, I walked through, and when I walked through, Joe was standing there looking at this wedding dress, and I said, oh, cool temple design, bro. That's really, really, I can really see you in it, like your style in it. And yeah, and I said, did you put that dress there? And he said, no, someone else put it there. And he sort of seemed mesmerized by it. And yeah, so that was really cool as well to actually kind of see the artist's reaction to people, other people's input into their thing. And yeah, it's like a beautiful, like it's just a beautiful little emotional connection circle. I love it.
Yeah, that's very impactful. And the effigy, can you describe some of the designs, features?
It was like a giant egg. Yeah, but it was a giant egg, but like the I kind of my reaction to it was I looked at it and went, this is great. Someone's made like a better orb to basically just like stick it to the House of Orb that it's actually a better orb, but that's because like there's just this giant rivalry going between the House of Orb and the Church of Belligerents, which I think is hilarious to watch. So that was my I don't know, like did you look at it like that way, Wes, or is that just me?
No, it certainly came across as more sphere than an egg. There's no denying it. They didn't quite get it having a point at the top, so it looked like a sphere. And once you got up close, you could see they'd laid logs around the bottom of it, and then you kind of go, oh right, it kind of is a nest with an egg. But it took a bit to get there. But it was all done of triangles, like it was a beautiful geometric shape. The actual sphere.
It was
egg sphere.
I think it was pentagons and hexagons. I was staring at the design when I was in there. And I was like, oh, okay.
All triangles stacked together to make
the
shapes.
Yeah, but did you notice that there was a pattern? There was a pattern where it was like, I think it was like a pentagon in the middle, and then the other was like, it was a really cool. Really cool for, like to use patterns like that as well in the designs of things for, people that like to stare at things for a long time.
They made an event space as well, which they've done the last couple of years. They've made the effigy an event space.
Yeah.
So this year, say the same. It had basically a drop down bar, or you could pull it up and have a DJ deck. And so there's quite a lot of different theme camps took it over for one night and basically did a bar or a dance or something. So it gives a different vibe. Like I'm still a bit mixed about using the effigy's event space because we have a lot. Why
is that? Why is that?
I always
is it sacred?
No, I don't think the effigy is sacred, but an effigy isn't always something large and visually impactful. Like it doesn't need to be an event space. We have loads of event spaces around, so I don't think we need another one.
I think the part in that where it's really important though that it's an event space that, like all the other spaces, they're theme camps, and the theme camps do their own thing. This is an event space where Blazing Swan can say, okay, this is what we want to do this year that supports the idea or the theme or whatever we want to put across. So like my favorite thing was the fact that they had Billy, who is the head of our DPW, like the, Department of Works, building the place. We had Billy's band play there, which is awesome because he's such a freaking pillar of the community. And, I've heard about Billy's band. I was like, oh man. And I finally got to see them play. Well, I kind of missed it because I got distracted. But I do that. Artist. Who would have guessed? But I finally got to see him play, and that was amazing. And and then we had Tim stepped up and started singing and playing on the guitar. And Tim, another cool guy from our setup crew. And and that for me really hit home. I was like, I would love to see us actually support a live band every year, because that's another thing that live bands are dying out. And, it's clear by, like, you can see like the love of like the Magical Frontier where they have a live musician, like you can see the clear support for it. And it's hard for bands. Like you think about like a DJ, okay, cool. You have like a lot of expensive equipment, but you have one person generally that, and some equipment that's, like, could probably stack fairly neatly into a neat little package. You think about a band and you think about you usually got like, like three to five musicians. You've got a huge drum kit, mic stands, all that. It's not a neat little package, but it is a really beautiful thing that's dying out in this age of, electronic AI and all the programs and stuff. I would love to see us pick one band a year and say, look, here's a local band. We want to give them 5 free tickets because that's a lot of money. 5 people buying a ticket to an event, that's a lot of money. So if we can just gift free tickets to a band and give them help to get out here. And I think when you think about it, the idea of the effigy is life. And the temple is the quiet, the effigy is the
soul.
The soul. So the temple's the soul. The effigy is the real, the high spirit and the,
I'd say even the temple's the heart as well. So I was thinking, I'm not sure what you call the effigy. It's kind of like the head of the event almost, like the brain. The brain doesn't give the right vibe though either. So
it's like that's the fun. The effigy's the fun and the crazy, and the temple is
the climax.
The heart and the emotion and the and the effigy's like let's get fun, have fun, and so it's like. Yeah.
So we have had live camps before that's they basically just do support live bands. And back at the start, we also had a center camp, which was actually a place, and we did deck it out with stuff for live bands because one of the original founders, he has a band as well, so he actually brought it down and played it. So that I thought worked quite well. You almost have that as well as an effigy, or it can be linked to the effigy. I'm not necessarily still sold that the effigy has to be an event space, but that's my feeling. That's all.
I think the main thing, the important thing is the tickets, to be able to give the tickets to the band, because so last year I was a part of Valhalla, and we had a live band, and the only reason we were able to get that live band there was because Frigga, who she volunteers for DPW every year, she last year we actually offered a lot more free tickets. So for all the setup crew, if they were doing a lot of hours, they would get extra free tickets to give to their loved ones. And because she got extra free tickets for all the hours of work that she did for us and all the effort that she went to, she actually gifted them to the band for Valhalla so that we could get the band there. And, in terms of this year's Blazing Swan, I think that if Valhalla had come this year and asked for free tickets for a band, they would have had to sort it out themselves. And so that was the point that, so if Blazing Swan could offer the free tickets to the band to say, yep, cool, we want you here, come and give us your beautiful gift of music, whether they play in a theme camp or whatnot, I would just like to see that happen. But I just think the effigy is a good way to see that happen, because it means that we can say, cool, we've got a space that we can offer up, and we're in basically
so somewhere
we
need more than we need more than Def Punk and Carl Cox.
And again, it's all about supporting art, even musical art.
You're absolutely right. You're 100% right with the live music. I mean, it is in the East Coast burns. It is probably dying as well. There's not many camps or artists that are coming, or burners who are performing.
Yeah. And it's not to say that live musicians, it's not to say that if you have a 5-person band that you're worth any more than someone who's electronically creating music. It's just saying that we acknowledge that it's a lot harder when you've got 5 people and a drum kit and 5 musicians and all the gear. That's physically, visually, it's a lot harder to transport that and get the tickets than one person with some techie gear that is a lot smaller and compact. But it's still effort wise and value. We're not saying that it's worth more, or either one of those artists puts in any more or less effort. It's just saying that we recognize that it's harder.
Yeah, and I do like the idea of having the effigy, catered for it to be interactive. So if an event if someone wants to host an event there, I think it brings people to the art as well as familiarizing and just sort of like getting connected to the art as well.
Yeah. And I think, it's important to acknowledge as well that like even though, we're a beautiful, accepting community, there is still going to be like social and political circles, and because we're such a beautiful, connective community, people have, everyone's going to know everyone, everyone's going to have relationships with everyone. There's still that thing that happens where people will go, no, I don't want to go to that theme camp because those people are involved. Whereas like the effigy in the temple or something, it's like, it doesn't matter who you know in the community or what gripes you have with who or what experience you've had with who. Everyone gathers there because that is what it's all about. It's like you put aside all your bullshit and all your social stuff and you go, yeah, we all love this thing and we're all here for this thing. So it's a neutral space that we can all agree on that we're here for this, rather than kind of being like, I want to go see that thing, but it's in, that person's house and, that you have sort of things with. And it's like where the effigy is no one's house. Effigy and temple, it's no one's house. It's everyone's house. It's a cool neutral space where we can all connect.
Yeah, it's a centerpiece. Let's talk about, do you guys want to talk about the burning of the church?
Sure.
It took too long.
That was how they wanted it.
Were you both there?
Yeah. So I was down. Did you do the perimeter, Wez?
No, I wasn't. The perimeter was done by the fire tribe.
Yeah.
I was there just supporting and checking and making sure things went smoothly. That was my job at that particular thing. I was on there. And so the burning of the church burn was actually, it was an art piece. They had the theme camp, which was separate. And so the burning of the church was an art piece this year. So I guess I was there. I knew it was going to happen. Obviously, I processed their application. It was apparently meant to be a secret. I don't think anyone was really told it was meant to be a secret. There was a little bit of it was literally called Burn the Church, and they changed the name last minute. So sorry guys if it wasn't a secret because nobody told me. But so I was there at the front.
It was in a dust app, wasn't it?
With the dust app and the WTF guide, they changed the name of the art piece for at the stage where the dust app and the WTF guide were being compiled. They changed the name of the piece, but originally it was just called Burn the Church. So and nobody really sort of said, oh, it was meant to be a secret. But yeah, they changed the name to
I don't know. I don't know what did I change the name to? I'll try and whip out my WTF guide again.
I think it was like, the handy, beautiful WTF guide where you can look at all the names of the art pieces and give all the artists the recognition they deserve. Yay! Sorry, I sound really shit because I don't actually know the name of it. But to be fair, I've been looking at the Burn the Church the whole time. I think it was like Fire, be thy name, or
Fire, walk with me.
Oh, I was so close. So Fire, walk with me. So they wanted it to be a secret. They didn't want any photos of it because they said no. I asked one of the guys, why don't you want photos of it? Because the one thing I've got from feedback from all the artists is, oh man, we never get any photos of. We spent so much time making this stuff and we never get any photos of it. So I kind of came out with my camera being like, yes, I'm gonna do the deal right by all of us, and I was all ready to like take photos, and then they had a sign saying no photos. And I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, so he sort of said, oh no, that we don't want photos of it because we don't want it going up on social media because then people will see like its location will give away the fact that it's burning. And I kind of went, is it meant to be a secret? What
were some of the comments? What were some of the comments around with the crowd? Did people know about the backstory, about the whole, meaning to it as well?
I think like judging by the people standing around me, I think there were a lot of people that, like, you know, we have a lot of people that don't know, like that is probably their first year, or they're the sort of travelers, or so that don't quite understand. I don't know. Wes, can you comment?
I was not with the crowd. I was down at the perimeter, so I don't actually know how they reacted to it.
Yeah.
I assume people probably got an idea it was going to burn because where it was. Because we have areas where obviously we put things out to be burnt that aren't, you know, near the edge of the event, in a kind of area that if the wind blows, it's going to blow them into an empty paddock. So it was out in that area, like kind of down from the temple area. So I think anyone that went out there would have had probably a pretty good idea. It's the odds of it burning were high if they had any knowledge about what we normally do here.
Yeah.
For some people, it may have been new. They may have just gone out there going, "Oh, this is just an event I've, you know, seen on the thing I'll come out to." But what they actually said, that would have been actually quite interesting to hear what people in the crowd.
If it was your first year, you'd have no idea. You'd
Correct.
just be like, "Oh, cool, there's a big thing.
There's an event happening out there. I'll just go and watch."
Yeah, like for everyone. I mean, I think that like from the years that I've been, the church has always been up the end of the Sound Camp Alley, and I've heard that it used to be down by Greeters, so it kind of has moved around a bit. So maybe some people might not have clocked that it was going to burn because they go, "Oh, well, it's moved around. You know, it used to be down by the gate, and you know, and there's." So they might have been like, "Oh, cool, it's just moving around again." But yeah, like I think it was really cool to see. Like, I know they wanted to do a big performance, and I think they collaborated with Fire Tribe. Or sort of some wicked sword work by Jed and Shay. And that was really beautiful to see. And I'm sure it was really important for them. And so, for me, I was looking on it going, this is really cool how it's, I'm sure for the church, it symbolizes sort of a change in their direction and a change. You know, it's all the hard work you put into something over the years and you're kind of letting it go. I guess I can't actually speak for them. But I have friendships with them. And so, but I can't speak for what it meant for them, but this is what I saw. I was like, hey, this is really cool. They're really putting, it wasn't just burning it because fuck it, we're getting rid of it because it's old and moldy and it's going to break down anyway. It was like a ceremony. It was, we had a beautiful performance. There was there was
several different bits,
a lot of chanting.
Yeah.
I yelled out a few comments because as you do, that's what we do. I needed to pee really badly and I was like, fucking hurry up. Fun was had by all. And I'm
so
sure
you were belligerent.
Yeah, exactly. They, that's the thing. Yeah. They would have understood. I was just like, hurry up. You're doing this deliberately. Some of us need to pee. Cause I'm sure they would have been like, we're gonna drag this out. You want to watch it burn and we're gonna drag it out with a big performance. Fuck you. Fun was had by all and jokes will be had by all. I'm sure. It's sparked much joy and belligerence in the community already.
I think there's a little bit of church in all of us now. After it's burnt down.
I like to try and out belligerence the church of belligerence,
Get fucked, What's your favorite stories of going to the church? Just trying to get a drink and trying to get fucked.
Look, I have probably only ever stepped inside the church once.
You don't want to get converted.
I can tell you my favorite story about going to the Church of Belligerence's photo shoot where they were putting together the calendar. They're having a photo shoot for the calendar where they were so they can another bit of the fundraiser for the Think Camp, and this was probably before it was actually it might have actually been before my first year of Blaze. This was actually before I'd even been to Blaze before. They were having the photo shoot for their calendar, and this was the one. So Hannah from Fire Tribe was in it, friend Bree was in it, and so I went along. I got invited along with them. I got invited along by Bree, to come with her and to this photo shoot, and obviously I knew Hannah as well. So I was like, yeah, cool. And yeah, my favorite thing to do is when I know I'm going to be going out with a bunch of people that like to be a little bit like gothy and dress in black and tell people to fuck off, is turn up in a beautiful floral outfit with like, like basically the most like denim shorts, the most sweet pumpkiny looking, curly hair that like basically just be the brightest little fairy artsy fartsy pants I can, just to annoy the crap out of them. And so that's me being belligerent. And I went to their photo shoot and, they were so incredibly welcoming. And then I played on a bunch of chains. There were some chains hanging down from the ceiling. It was like a warehouse with like, where they hoist cars up and stuff. And they had some chains that were like, for hoisting cars up and working them. And of course I went, I'm going to jump on these and twirl around on them and do some little fun things on them. So I did that. And Sarah from the church was taking photos of me doing that. And it was just fun by all. And that's my favorite thing about it, is that it's like, yeah, it actually doesn't matter. Like, despite the whole we hate hippies thing, honestly, I think the church loves the hippies. I think they really secretly love them. Yeah, they secretly love the hippies. Because let's be honest, I think I might be a giant hippie, and they're
actually nice people.
Yeah,
actually,
yeah, they're just trying to hide the fact.
I won't tell them you said that. They'll come for you.
What about you, Wez?
My favorite memory is going up there one night, around midnight, just before they did the blood ritual, which is where they basically turn on all the sprinklers and spray, sort of blood on everyone. And that, to me, was one of my favorites, watching people hang around to do that. The people that knew and the people that didn't know was probably the highlight of seeing some people deliberately not get told. I knew, so I kind of decided I wouldn't step in at the midnight bell and just watch other people step in. But yeah, that what they did, I mean, they've made this stunning, like, the whole atmosphere of what they do is superb. They've always done a great job with that.
Yeah.
I think what's really beautiful about the church as well is that it is this, I think Craig said to me once that, it's like, we'll be so belligerent, like we'll belligerently comply with things. So, it's like you would think, if they tell you to do paperwork, Craig, you're going to tell them to get fucked. He said, no, we'll do the paperwork so well that it'll piss people off because we'll belligerently do the paperwork that we'll do it better than they wanted us to, and it's actually going to piss them off. Yeah, so I was like, I fucking love that. Great. It's not actually about just being like, yeah, get fucked, cunts. It's actually, I don't know. I think there's an art to belligerence, and it's the fact that you can
know where to push it, I guess.
Yeah, you can shit talk, but like, they are the most caring, beautiful people that I have met in the entire Blaze. And sorry to disrespect anyone that isn't in the church. Actually, there's a few more caring, beautiful people. But as a group, if I was to kind of look at any group as a whole, they are the sickest cunts of the bunch. So
well, who else are sick cunts? I mean, any shout outs?
All right, let's go through this.
If Blaze doesn't, if things don't work out, I mean, Blaze doesn't run. So who are these people and what do they do? And like, starting from, all the way down to from the gates to the sanitary to rangers to all these people.
Okay, is this basically like shout out hour? We're basically giving shout outs to people that we think are important.
Yeah, let's go. Let's
okay. So
just give out some shout outs.
All right. All right. So already big shout outs to Billy and Frigga. Frigga has recently changed her name from Kirsty. So if anyone knows her, she's Kirsty. Yeah. So shout out to Billy and Frigga. Billy is really well known, like setting up the event. He's the Hand of God is his nickname. Oh no, was it? No, the Hand of God's the machine. I think he's the voice of God, because he's the one that can tell people to take the machine places. So he's the voice of God. So Frigga has been the person on the ground at DPW last year, she is so beautiful, and so many people open up to her because she's so comfortable to talk to. And our crew, like, the big thing with the setup crew is they, like, when you think about it, like, a lot of them are, you know, they're not people that, I mean, some of them earn a lot of money. Some of them might be, you know, some might be low income earners. Either way, like, taking off, you know, 3 or 4 weeks of the year, like, if you think about it on a typical person, on a typical full-time wage, you know, that's your whole holiday time. You know, that's like, you know, I'm like, shout out to low income earners, because, you know, we all want to connect and enjoy this experience. And a lot of us give up so much of our freedom and opportunity to come here. And, you know, we're going, fuck, I'm going to be paying for this, you know, in the next few weeks while I'm trying to, you know, like, budget my food shopping and everything around it and make sure I've got enough fuel money. But it's all worth it when you come out here for the connection, right? So these guys, our setup crew, they're giving up 3 weeks to come out here and flog it and, you know, like, yeah, exhaust themselves because of the connection with each other and the camaraderie. And last year, Frigga had, like, you know, she's such a beautiful person that people go to for support, that it took a lot out of her. She, you know, she was there to support people and took a lot about her. So shout out to Frigga.
We got like over 200 volleys this year, which is kind of nuts from back when we started. So yeah, I couldn't start a shout out. I think, but one thing is my memory gets completely fried usually when I'm active and out here and stressed. I think my brain gets a bit wiped in memory. So yeah, I certainly couldn't do any go through a list of people. I guarantee I'd forget people. I wouldn't want to do that, so I'd probably prefer not to. What was your other question, Stevan, around the people? Oh, what do they do? What do they do out of this? I honestly don't know out of most of them. I think we have an interesting mix of people coming from all over the place, which is actually one part that makes it so amazing. You know, we go from, like, we seem to get a horde of hippies, a horde of geeks, a horde of nerds. We seem to get some professional people come out here. Like, we have some, I don't know, just the range of people is quite incredible, I find. And I think that's, yeah, that makes it part of what makes it so amazing. Is got this weird mix of people. They all bring their different backgrounds and interests together. So we get this boiling pot of stuff.
You know, I actually think it's really important to recognize our, so Hannah's our fire lead, and Angus has done the effigy design this year, and also a part of the pyrotechnics crew. You know, and these two people, powerhouse people, used to be in a relationship, still have a great friendship. So oppositely different, you know. And I just want to appreciate that we've got our fire lead, who is methodical, won't put up with bullshit, very, very strong, independent woman. And then we've got our crazy dude that loves to do all the I had a wonderful conversation with Angus recently where he's talking about wanting to get the kids involved as everyone's getting older now, and the kids are growing up to be teenagers, and the kids want to get involved in planning stuff, and they're not allowed because they're not allowed on site while it's still work site. But Angus said, hey, I want to get them, basically like send them out to get them involved in planning the effigy, they have to go talk to the farmer and find out how much it would, if they could trade for this much wood and stuff like that, and send the kids out on a mission. And he's all about breaking the rules, but in the right way, like bending the rules, like trying to get around the rules. And I just fucking love that. I love that we've got two really passionate people around fire, but they're so different. But yeah, it's like, that's part of the magic of Blaze, is that it's not, nobody's looking down upon anybody for being different or being a certain way. It's like, yeah, we can be absolute immature little dickheads, but we still come together to make this magical event happen. And and that's a part of like the heart of Blaze is that you don't have to fit in a box.
Oh, sorry. Are you there?
Yeah.
We seem to have lost you for a bit.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, Wesley, the early days of Blazing Swan. Do you want to talk more about that? Like 2014, 2015? With also building that relationship with the Kulin community?
Yeah, I can go back and talk about the kind of start of the Kulin relationship.
And also, God Said No. How did that come about? Not just as a theme camp,
yes.
But...
I can tell a bit of the origin story of how we got to Kulin. I can go through. So when we got our committee together, like we basically started to decide where we wanted to put the actual event. Some of the people were very keen to do it a bit like Burning Man in the States, where we go out in the desert somewhere like way away so people can't come to and from the city, which is fair enough. I wasn't as convinced that we want to do it like 5 to 8 hours out in the desert and make it incredibly hard, which is part of what Burning Man's about. But, it's not as though we have to follow that plan entirely. So we basically came up with this whole like looking for venues. One of the venues a couple of the committee found was down south, like the southwest corner of WA. It was on the property of a couple. It was basically, I never actually went to this property, but it was basically a basin down in a kind of a bushy, grass, cold area that was really quite amazing from all accounts. And they were basically starting to talk to these people about using this space to run the event. And during that discussion, that it looked like everything was going ahead. And then after a couple of weeks, that they had a summons to talk to this couple, and they said, sorry, we can't do the event anymore. God said no. So obviously they were quite religious, and obviously they had some decision was made that
I've never heard this story.
That they decided that they weren't going to go ahead, which was convenient. That happened well advance of the event ever happening. So we didn't actually start commencing the event in any regard before that happened. But that then led to a theme camp here called God Said Yes. God Said Yes.
Oh, really?
There was God Said Yes and there was God Said No here. There were two theme camps,
Both,
opposites. Yeah. And eventually...
And one of them was at on the Salt Lakes.
Correct. So that was God Said No started on the Salt Lake. That was a sound camp. And God Said Yes was up this end where we're sitting now.
What happened to God Said Yes?
It never really took. It was kind of part of the joke, but God Said No became the actual thing. So that was our first attempt at venue.
Yeah.
So you actually could say that God Said No is actually the most belligerent theme camp.
Yeah,
of
true.
Blazing Swan, because that's like a giant finger to the original.
Yes, the original potential
like,
venue.
Yeah, well, like God said no, we're here.
Well, if God was Aussie, he would say yeah, nah. Yeah. That's a cool story.
Absolutely. So after that,
but there's more. Yeah.
There is more. So then it was like, well, we still need to pursue venues. So my plan was basically start to talk to the various shires and local councils to basically look for farmland. So we pretty much started ringing councils out in the wheat belt. We kind of divided up amongst the committee to ring different groups. But I think I might have been the only one that actually rang anyone in the end of that time. So I had to strip out into the wheat belt. And of course, this was like post a whole set of massive fires. So when you ring up a shire in the wheat belt or out in our hills and we say, we'd like to bring a festival out to Ewan and burn massive wooden structures, you pretty much heard them like hang up the phone like on the spot. Either if they said so, or they actually did that. But Kulin was not that. So when I actually talked to Kulin, the person I talked to was like, oh, yeah, we actually like burning things. They actually host an event in this same location called the Kulin Bush Races. And they make a big like horse kind of out of hay bales and they burn it. Like not a massive structure, but they do burn it. And then she came back that the CEO actually knows about Burning Man. So it kind of seemed rather, fortuitous that they were interested and they were keen. Unlike most of the other shires we'd talked to. Another one nearby, Condon, we had a chat with them and they actually did end up showing us some farmland as well. A couple big, like a farmer had some massive big plots of land that he was rotating and he was happy for us to use. And then we came out here, and if people haven't been to Blazing Swan before, It's on basically a racetrack, which is where bush races is, but it's surrounded by facilities for those bush races. So there's a whole set of commercial kitchens, there's showers, there's toilet blocks, there's some demountables, there's a couple other blocks of toilets out in the kind of the paddock area, and there's another demountable out like on the other side of the racetrack. There's a massive big rock on one side, which is Gillican Rock, and there's a massive big salt lake on the other side, which is the Gillican Lake. So the site is stunning. And with all this infrastructure, like it's kind of like it was ready to go. And it was pretty much a perfect site. You know, we went to look at Condon, and Condon was basically just farm paddocks. And it was like, well, do we want to do the plan of bringing everything in, or do we basically want to use this gorgeous kind of pre-made site? And it was pretty much an obvious conclusion that, yeah, it made perfect sense to go with Kulin.
So did it take much convincing to get the landowners here to agree to use it for this event?
No, not really. So the landowners actually rent this bush races block to the Shire, and the Shire is looking for other events to run here. So they run their bush races once a year. And when someone rocked up saying we'd love to run another big festival at your location that's for events, they were totally stoked. And Lucchese's, the landowners, Serge and Mary, their son Mick as well, who's kind of taking over. They have been, in fact, the entirety of Kulin has been super supportive. They're a phenomenal community. And coming out here as well, that was another kind of like bit of the icing on the cake, was they've actually taken the entire highways around this area and put tin horses on them, which is kind of one of their things. So when you drive out to Blazing Swan, you actually drive to the last like section across the tin horse highway, which is their art thing. So they pretty much have tin horses like down the highways. It's like, this just seems so
freaking cute.
And so correct as well. Like the art, the randomness, the location, the people, like it just felt perfect. It really did. The Kulin location. So here we are, and have been for like 10 years.
And people still call it a Playa. And
that's an interesting thing.
I had to ask. I was like, why do people keep saying "see you on the Playa"? And they're like, no, it's see you on the Playa. It's because Burning Man's in the desert and there's a Playa. And I was like, but this isn't a desert. And so apparently if you tell people it's not a Playa, that's really like, they get really upset.
So my interesting thing, that the first year I actually invited my dad down to give a talk. So my dad's a professor of ecology, or was. And in his talk, he pointed at the salt lake and he said, oh yeah, that's a Playa. And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, it's a Spanish word for salt lake. And I went, oh my God.
All this time we've been telling lies.
The Playa is a salt lake. So the term in Playa in Burning Man is the actual event is on a giant salt lake or flatbed salt lake. It's basically an ancient lake. We have one. We're not on it, but we're next to it. So we do indeed have a Playa.
I have a solution.
Oh, yes.
I have a solution, okay. In Rockingham, Rockingham, which is how do I explain Rockingham to? No, do we need to? Okay, we don't need to explain.
It's an hour away from Perth.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So you know,
coastal,
yeah,
coastal town.
Hour away from Perth, you know, where everyone like drinks Jack Daniels and yeah, definitely, yeah. Anyway, basically, you get away from Perth because you can't afford to live in Perth. You live in Rockingham. Rockingham has a salt lake that looks exactly like Burning Man does. I've seen the pictures. So solution from now on, I vote. I would like to pose a motion that we hold Blazing Swan on the salt lake of Rockingham. What say you?
Well, I still love Kulin. I still vote for Kulin. Can't get over it. I'm sold.
It might be a bit smaller, but I feel like we can, it could solve this problem. Everyone's saying "see you on the Playa," and we're like, "Hey, now you can."
We did consider doing the event on that salt lake. That salt lake is actually owned by the federal government, not owned by WA. So we're actually not allowed to. It's actually a reserve, but it's actually a federal reserve, which is I didn't even know we had those, but yeah, it's a federal reserve.
Damn paperwork.
So you can't even touch it.
Well, I don't mind stepping on double G's. It's okay. Get used to it.
That's another story.
Well, we actually
Yes.
had a beautiful art piece this year. I don't know if
Mhm.
you noticed it, Wes, but it's a giant light up double G structure.
I have not noticed that.
Yeah. It's up the up the end of the Sound Camp Alley. And so it's
yes.
actually designed
Oh
to
my
look
God,
like a
of
giant
course.
light up double G. I love
I
that.
had not twigged to
I
that.
fucking
Yes,
love
of
that.
course.
Like, imagine being inspired by this thing that causes us so much pain and broken bike tires and saying, I'm going to make a giant light up ode to this thing
Yep.
that we all despise
experienced at some
so
point.
much. Yeah.
Mm.
That's beautiful. That's
That is-
art.
that
That's
is-
art.
that is
That's
great. I
beautiful.
love it.
Yeah.
Have you guys been to any of the East Coast burns? You guys should come and have
I
a visit.
still haven't. I've been to Burning Man. I'll probably
Mhm.
go across to the Aurora burn this year. Assuming things go to plan, that's a new Tassie burn, just because they came across here.
That's
and
the new Tassie burn. Yeah.
Tassie burn, and I absolutely adore spending time with them, and I'm very keen to see what they're going to set up over there. So I'll probably head across for that. But still not got to Seed or to the Underlands or to Modifier.
Modifier.
Modifier. What else am I
I-
forgetting? I'm forgetting something else. Another one.
There's a new one, Third Degree.
Oh, yep. And there's another one.
Yeah, Third Degree. The Central Place.
I feel as though there's another one I'm missing.
Burning
Anyway,
Seed. Yeah.
I'm not much of a traveler, because to be honest, I'm too povo to travel.
mm,
But I have got an invitation that if I want to go to Burning Seed, I have a beautiful, wonderful friend that said, come to Burning Seed and you have a place to stay. And so maybe I'll go to Burning Seed. But yeah, very, very much love to hear about all the other events and how they handle their stuff and how they do all the back end secret business, all the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, like we've got some beautiful people here that are like, that I've been learning from so far. We've got Safety Shaz and Vida. Vida's our event manager, and Safety Shaz, she's, does all the safety stuff. And for me particularly, like, in learning how to do all the art pieces and organize all the stuff, they've been really amazing with their advice to me. I'd love if anyone wants to get in contact with me and give me advice and perspective. I would love that. I'm all about hearing people's stories.
Yeah, the reason why I asked is if you guys could compare at least talk about why Blazing Swan is unique or different to the other burns.
I think I guess you probably just compare it with WA in general. It's like where everything is so very distant, where the whole of East Coast is like you can travel from one state to another and no worries. Whereas WA, it's everyone's traveling so very far, and I don't know, maybe that gets reflected in like what how hard it is to organize. I think it's I can't really comment on that, but I generally probably just think about in general the population of WA. I think makes it harder when you think about like event numbers and stuff, and people buying tickets, so like Burning Seeds Adelaide, right? It's is it? Yeah.
Victoria.
Victoria, is it? Oh, okay.
It's in New South Wales, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, Victoria, New South Wales.
Wagga Wagga.
Yeah. So it's like
in between.
Like all the like the capital cities of those states, like everything's a little bit more compact. So I guess you got like a lot more people living in a more compact space. And so in terms of like everyone buying tickets, you've got a lot more people. And then if you got a smaller event capacity, there's a lot more people that are likely to buy tickets. It probably fills up faster. I don't know. That's the kind of thing I'd look at and go, like the
I feel as though WA is kind of a bit unique in the fact is when we have unusual events or slightly out of norm, because we don't have cities nearby, there's no alternative. I've often found that a lot of
you guys are isolated.
Yeah, and I often find like the fact is Blazing Swan took off like it did. I don't believe any other burning event in Australia has taken off at the rate that Blazing Swan has done. And I think that really comes down to quite in part our isolation. The fact is to go to anything else is really hard. So, if you're over in like Sydney or Melbourne, yeah, you could probably hop across a Tassie or hop across to Adelaide or hop across to like Sydney or Melbourne, whichever one you're not at. And it wouldn't be too much of a drama, where for us to go from east to west is enormous. So when there's something here, I feel as though the WA people seem to jump on it. That's something I've seen to be always felt, that if it's unusual, that we seem to be quite ready to accept something and get involved in it. That seems to be my feeling.
No, that's a really good point, because it's like there's not as much like big entertainment.
You can't just drive across the east when you feel like it.
Yeah,
really can't.
And it's like when like even like bands and stuff, like when like bands and shows and stuff come to Australia, they always hit up the East Coast, and then they're like, they get to WA and they're like, oh no, fuck that.
Yeah.
And they quit. So WA doesn't see as much out there stuff. And we're almost like we're kind of like the country hicks of Australia, really.
That's true.
Yeah, like everyone else is
vibe.
Everyone else is evolving. I feel like WA lags behind. Yeah. So people when they come to Blazing Swan, it's like, hey, this is what we're looking for. So it's a little bit more of a punch to kind of come to Blazing Swan and go, way, okay, cool.
Yep.
I think it has a lot of local flavour, as in Perth, Fremantle, also Kulin. We've got the camp.
Yep, correct. They've got two camps.
Got the library.
Yep.
Got the library where you are, which is from Albany, where John is.
Yep.
And some local. Where's the pool room from? We've got some locals as well.
The pool
just around the area.
The pool room's not local, but I'm not sure where they're from. So it's a Tin Horse experience.
Well, local WA.
Yeah, absolutely.
Local WA,
people, but I'm not sure actually where they're based. Those guys. But it's Tin Horse experience is obviously one of the Kulin crews, and they've actually broken out to Sound Camp as well. So they've got Tin Horse Internet or the Internet, or THE for Tin Horse Experience. So I've got internet and basically a Tin Horse making like a craft camp as well, which is phenomenal. I absolutely love it. Yeah,
we spoke to Will earlier, Will and Aaron, and Will is the next generation of burners of blazers. So it was interesting to hear his thoughts.
Yeah, in fact, I would be interested in hearing his thoughts as well. I have to listen to the podcast afterwards to see what they think, because I've talked to Erin a lot because she's been here from the start. I know her interests. But
what do you guys think about? Do you guys think about the future of Blazing Swan? Say, what's your outlook in 5 years, or where do you see it heading and stuff like that? Because it's important to get virgins in. It's important to get the younger people in. I
think it's so amazing to see that. Yeah, like the people are growing up in the community. Like, you've got people who. Was it like Ollie? Ollie is I met Ollie on my first year at Blazing Swan, and his mum has been a blazer for a while, and I think he was.
He was one of the original crew, one of the founders as well. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think he was like, he said he was like 19. I don't know, but like basically, when they've grown up with Blazing Swan, and then they've started to attend themselves like as adults, and I think that's fucking amazing that we have like families that are taking their kids to this stuff, and because it's like introducing them to the world and being free and stuff, and and then the kids are growing up, and I don't know, I think that's amazing. Because you have like there are other like events and bush doofs and stuff, and it's really funny how Blazing Swan's kind of like it's kind of like the middle ground between a bush doof, which is like ultimately a bunch of hippies, like real hippies, and then you've got like commercial festivals where it's I guess what we would call sparkle ponies, or like a lot of people that are like party, and I think Blazing Swan's like that beautiful in between where it's like it's like that community element, but it's really, it's still like a big party element. I think that's something really special to hold on to, that we've managed to create this environment where people feel safe to bring their kids to an event where people are also going to be getting naked and, getting altered, because, that's fun. Sometimes in a safe environment. And, so that's really cool that we've managed to create this safe space. And I think that's the most important thing we need to hold on to, because, we don't want people to go, fuck, we're going to have to stop bringing the kids to Blazing Swan because, I don't know, because it becomes that.
It's not safe. Yeah,
it's not safe as the kind of environment that you don't want your kids to grow up with as an example of what a community should be. It was really funny, like last year, maybe the year before, it was pissing down with rain, and I was in the middle of it. It started raining. I was trying to take some cool photos. I'm trying to do some long exposure shots, and then I was like, man, my camera's not waterproof. And these beautiful girls came over and said, would you like a lift back to your camp? And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. And I said, oh, hang on. I was really puzzled because I was like, how old are you guys? Because they were so like sweet and young, but just like chill. And they're like, yeah, no, we're 15. I was like, wow. I was like, aren't you like, because I don't know, like as a woman, you're like, fuck, the world is scary, man. And from from what I've seen, like young women, like we're generally like a little bit, like these girls had such confidence and such openness that I was like, generally you don't see that in girls, because we, like you go through some shit, I think that's worth recognizing, that girls go through stuff when they're growing up. And I was like, this is amazing. And and they said, no, I said, aren't you a bit worried about, being out here like in the dark? And they said, no, like, we've been growing, like, our parents have been taking us to Blazing Swan, since we were like 2 years old. And I was like, wow. I was like, and I think that's so beautiful. And it's like, let's keep that going.
Well, Blazing Swan does give you confidence. It does give you a different perspective.
Yeah, and it's a safe environment where, you can be like, hey, like I'm a 15-year-old girl, and I actually feel safe around all these people and all these adults. Yeah, and
it's saying something in this day and age for that to be a thing.
Yeah,
it's quite impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I did not have a unsafe upbringing, but even in a normal like middle class suburban upbringing, I would still say I was like, oh, I was a bit uncomfortable, if my parents had friends around and they were getting like a little bit, too heavy on get drinking and stuff. So so I kind of like worry a little bit, but like these girls were just like, no, it's cool. Like it's, like I think that's really great. Like, you're like from a young age, you're saying to your kids, like, look, it's community, but also like people are people, and there's going to be emotions. There's going to be out there things. There's going to be different things that you haven't seen before, and all of that is okay. And that is a fucking huge message to be sending. And that is so beautiful.
Yeah. One of the main things I like to tell people about experiencing the burn is a lot of skills that you take away from it, especially when you're volunteering.
Yeah.
And particularly when you're doing it in rangering as well. So
sure.
Not just your first aid skills, but, just common sense skills. Well,
yeah.
Well, how to deal with people, communicate with people.
And like, for the setup crews where it's like, hey, we're offering you a chance to get training, like, so some of the setup crew, like they might work in, like in, is it like blue collar jobs, high vis shirt jobs? But then we go, hey, like, would you like to get your certificate to use the telehandler? Cool. Like that's fucking awesome. We want to support training. We want to support, like, here's some, like, we'll get you a certificate for this because you're going to help us on setup. And then suddenly, you know what? That person can go and apply for a job in the real world where they can use that certificate. Fuck, that's amazing. You've just helped that person's like further their life and actually make a better thing. And, that applies to the artist, that applies to, even like myself, like cool. I made some cool art. I was excited. I don't have formal art qualifications. I don't have qualifications in administration, but being the arts, like being given the position of arts administration, and that it's a safe place for me to learn how to, I don't know how to send emails, but I've started, and being on the committee, I've started developing my own professional language repertoire. I've started developing my own professional confidence. I still don't think I'll ever get a real world job where I have to do that. I work in,
but you're ready for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I work in parks and garden maintenance. But hey, maybe if I talk to my boss and I say, look, I would like to liaise with you on creating an opportunity where some people can come and use our gigantic botanical park for a space to hold an event. Yeah, maybe I'll be way better at speaking to my boss about that. And yeah, it's all about I've been given a massive opportunity for personal development, and so that is my life has been better because Blazing Swan has helped me to gain those skills and given me the trust of saying, yeah, here's a position, we want to give you a go, and we're not going to look at you on paper or put you in a box. It's you have the passion, cool, come and learn how to do it.
And for you, Admiral, what kind of things have you acquired from rangering, and why do you love it?
I think it's kind of just part of who I am, to tell the truth. I've always been kind of the person that likes fixing things, helping people. And I see that in lots of rangers as well. You very find people that step up to be rangers have that type of mentality as it is. In terms of skills, I think it's just the more times you do things, the more it gives you just little different bits you find out about yourself. I suppose if anything, I had a couple today, this Blazing Swan that kind of made me, I suppose if anything, reminded me how I deal with people is probably better than I realize, if anything. I just had a couple of people pull me aside, after some things and just thank me on how I dealt with things. And I suppose I've never really thought of myself doing things unusual, but it's obviously and now I'm realizing the more I get into these things that it probably isn't as usual as I realize. But some of this may be more innate rather than being taught, I suppose, or learning. But it's time to use those skills and apply those skills. Is, I suppose, the more chance you have to apply them, the more chance you get to reinforce them and improve them. So I suppose that's kind of how things have just slowly evolved or improved.
This is actually a great time for me to segue into appreciating you for I've ranged for the first time this year, and I did the burn perimeter on the effigy. And I'm a very fidgety person. I often cop a bit of flack for swaying or being fidgety, because people kind of go, are you are you sane, or or are you in a sober state of mind? Yeah, man, it's cool. I like to fidget. I like to rock. I like to fidget. So on the burn perimeter, watching everyone doing the right thing. But Tribal Tribe was going, and I was having a bit of a jam and doing a little bit of dancing while I was doing my duties. And Admiral was walking past, making sure everyone's okay. And you just pointed at me while I was dancing and jamming, on the spot, and you just said yes. And that, I don't know, maybe for you probably just, but for me, that was a huge fucking moment. I was like, I was like, I've been given permission to be myself, and I will not be looked down on for, on my abilities to keep everyone safe, because I want to have a little dance on the spot while I'm doing it. And that was the best thing. Yeah, that was the best thing for me. So thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you for saying that. See, that's another thing. I would have not have picked that. But of course, someone dancing on the perimeter, I'm totally up for. It doesn't stop you being able to do your job or do what you're required to do.
Yeah. And you don't know my history, and you don't know, we don't know each other very well. But for me, that was a huge fucking awesome thing that you did. And that's what, that, let's keep that energy alive of expressing that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, Admiral, you're also been known for excessive volunteering. So how would you How would you try to recruit people to get more involved in Blazing Swan?
I usually find it happens automatically. I mean, that to me is one of the beauties of...
What happens if I'm introverted or extroverted or not talented or don't have any background? What would you say to these people?
Well, I mean, everyone can find a role or something they can do. But what I was alluding to just before is that usually people, when they come to these events, like I think this is across the board, any of the kind of the burning-esque events, is they see everyone doing stuff and usually they get inspired. That's what I've seen countless years, is that they come the first year and they go, wow, this is amazing. Look at all these people doing stuff. I want to do stuff too. Or I want to help, or I want to get involved. And I always seem to find like second year, you suddenly get this influx of people that are like, want to join theme council, want to do something, or want to help out with some art piece, want to bring something next year to gift out to people. So it kind of almost happens just as part of the culture of these events, rather than actually happen to say, like, you know, would you like to volunteer? People invariably look for things to volunteer. Rangers, I suppose, is a bit. I suppose it's a two-edged sword. We're more obvious, the Rangers. You know, we obviously, we walk around.
You guys got stunning, sexy uniforms,
and we have sexy uniforms. Exactly right. You know, we have to just force people away from us. It's really hard. But doing that, people see us. So it's, I suppose we're very obvious, and people know we're there to help and support the thing. So I suppose we probably have it a bit easier if people look for something to volunteer and they go, well, I'd like to do that. I'd happily help with that. Where there's certainly some groups that aren't as visible, that would probably struggle more than we do. But if people want to volunteer, there is no shortage of things to do. Like we've got 200 volunteers this year, and it'll keep growing through the years. There's always room for more people. There'll always be a role for someone, no matter how you feel or what you want to do. I mean, I've seen complete introverts like running stuff. They can be hiding away in a corner, just plodding away, doing their work. There's always jobs that anyone can get involved in if they wish.
I think that's a fantastic attitude, but I do think we have a lot of work to go to keep that going, to keep that like reinforcing that attitude. And I think the key thing is to say to volunteers, you are welcome. We want you here.
Absolutely.
And you are welcome. But we do have a bit of work to do in reinforcing that attitude and keeping that vibe within the org. I think like your attitude's fantastic, Wes, and and Safety Shaz has said to me, like when we were going through the art application, she was like, look, like when we're assessing the safety aspect of it, it's not about saying this is not safe so we don't want to do it. It's about like just helping them to find a way to make it happen, and also to say, look, it's not about saying it has to be 100%, and if you haven't secured it properly and it falls down, we don't want that. But also, and we're going to give you the best advice possible to make sure that doesn't happen. But also, we're not going to kick the shit out of you and put you down if because mistakes happen. And it's actually about giving someone that safe space to learn who they are and to learn the skills and experiment without going, that went wrong. Now we're going to, hold that against you.
It's funny how education. It's funny how we humans learn more from mistakes than successes. So
yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Education and acceptance is a really big thing, So.
Absolutely. And support, we have so many people in the org now. We have layers on layers on layers of support, which makes things really good now. Like, the fact is we have an entire art team, backed by safety, backed by DPW. Like, you can just come here and go, I would like to bring art here and do something. And there are teams that will back you to do that.
Yeah.
Which is something we certainly didn't have at the start. There was basically 6 of us trying to run everything. But now it's phenomenal.
Let's talk about another volunteering kind of a lead is the Exodus crew.
Yep.
Where they make sure that you leave, safely, I guess, that you're able to drive, that you're fully nourished or whatever, like you're not too sleepy.
Yep.
Stuff like that. Yeah, as well as just getting your way out of the probably the Kulin as well. Could be a traffic jam and stuff like that. So
see, that's a new thing that's come about. I actually don't know what year that started, but that was something that you realize there's holes in the system, and you kind of go, well, actually, when we wrap up, there's these queues of cars that might be going out. They might not be able to all get out. They may not be all in the state to drive. So they need some support. So that's why we got the Exodus.
Yeah, that's a good initiative.
For that.
Okay, let's end with more shout outs. Who else do you guys want to mention without these people? Blazing Swan cannot happen.
Oh,
well, what about your team leads in Rangers?
The crew. I mean, maybe going through different crews. So Rangers is led by Gov. We've got entire Ranger ops teams now that basically decide how things work. We've got the Green Dots run by Kelpie, who basically look after mental health. We've got medics. I don't think I know the name of the medic lead at the moment. We've got Fireys led by Gareth. We've got the fire team led by Hannah. I'm going to forget something. I guarantee. Consent led by Mel. There's the Forms led by Paul. Paul, it was an ex-committee member, but he stayed on to help out doing forms, and that's become his life, is doing forms. He's a form king. We've got the kitchen staff. I'm trying to think all the different groups. Social media. The art team, led by someone I can't remember the name of.
I'm not. Sorry, clarification. I'm not the lead of the arts department.
You're not the lead of the arts department.
No, I'm the artsy fartsy installation administration, which is a title I basically gave myself. I'm a co-arts administration with Russell. Cherry Bomb or Kerry or Cherry Bomb is as the head of department of arts.
Right. Yes.
Which includes our mune vehicles and temple and effigy.
Yeah, there you go. So temple crew, effigy crew, DMT crew,
and all the theme camps.
All the theme camps. I mean, that's absolutely true. Like the org supports the theme camps doing most of the work. I mean, the theme camps provide the bulk of what happens at the event. Not the org. The org does the temple and the effigy and basically make sure things run, which is admittedly an enormous task. But the theme camps provide the guts of everything, and they put their butts on the line and their people on the line, their money on the line to come here and do that.
Actually, I think we have to decide who is the heart of Blazing Swan. So a big thing I've been hearing is everyone sort of saying, "Oh, like without us, the event wouldn't go ahead." And it's like, hang on a minute, guys.
Yeah, it's
without everyone,
it is. Yeah, that's right.
It's absolutely everyone.
It's too interconnected now.
So one thing we did this year was we introduced we had an arts marquee. Like in previous years, there hasn't been like an artist hub or a for art installations or everyone. We've all just had one center kiosk. So this year we've had quite a few changes to the org where we've had like an official mune vehicles department, and the arts department has their own marquee. Consent has their own marquee. Previously, a lot of these, if people pick up their photography passes, I think they still pick them up from center kiosks. But we've had a big expansion of here's your own little marquee in your hub. And
the services have been expanding like every year, and it's just growing and growing. It's really nice.
And the one thing that we with the art marquee is we decided, or Kerry wanted to call it the heartery, and and we put in the description, art is the heart of Blazing Swan. Now I actually found this in a document on our file storage, and I'm not sure where that's come from, but I just picked it up from there and said, hey, look at this beautiful, it tells a beautiful little story. I'm not sure who's written it, but okay, this must be our thing. So art is the heart of Blazing Swan. And then I've since then been told, actually, we've always said kitchen is the heart of Blazing Swan. So now I think we're just going to have to, like, every year, we're just going to have to, it's been decided we're going to have to claim that something else is the heart of Blazing Swan. I think we're all just going to have our turn every year to claim that we are the heart of Blazing Swan. So, yeah, pretty much like you get 1 year to be the most important thing, and then we'll let you have that. And then, yeah, I don't know, like that's an idea.
I've been told that Psytrance is the heart of Blazing Swan.
That'll get you in mixed responses.
Yeah, well, thanks very much for coming on the show, guys, and having a chat.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
That was entertaining and good information, and a lot of good stories too.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to say? Last mentions. How would you rate this burn? Maybe it's recency bias, but you guys
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I've loved it. But everyone's different. Every single blaze is always different, and they're different in different ways. And even every individual's experience of every blaze is going to be different. Like, because I've worked most of the start, I had 1 day off so far. So I've missed a lot of it. So even what I have experienced has been fantastic. But yet again, other people may have had completely different experiences than me. And that's going to be true across the board.
I feel like it's not about what actually happens at the burn. It's whatever place you are in your life, and different things are going to speak to you. And I think as long as we have different things, allowing all those different things to come to the burn, then that's great. Including bureaucracy. Like that's a
I
really
loved it.
Yeah,
I've got a pass to carry suspicious salmon.
I'm a fan. Yeah.
So everyone knows I'm legitimately allowed to now.
Yeah. So we have the bureau camp. Yeah, so we can all pretend to be, indulge in bureaucracy. It's basically we've got our own little let's pretend to be in the real world thing, but like it's fun. It's fun, and it's not. So we've had the High Court of Petty Grievances this year, which was an art piece, and it's we a place to argue about things in court. And I would like to say that a case has been resolved where it has been ruled that I will now receive a cup that was taken from me 2 years ago, and the High Court ruled in favour of me receiving a replacement for that cup, and I'm so happy for that, so grateful for them for that. And it absolutely had nothing to do with the fact of any favouritism about the fact that the arts department funded their art piece. So I just want to say that straight out, that there was no funny business there.
No corruption
and that
at all.
ruling was it was absolutely true. And there was no under the table dealings at all.
We might have to get Rowdy in. we might have to get Hamish in and tell us his side of the story.
Hamish, my good friend Rowdy Hamish.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
our good friend, yes.
Okay, so Rowdy was actually witness to this cup, which was given in it was lended in good faith, with the gift of coffee, I might add, to my fellow campmate. And the cup disappeared. Rowdy actually witnessed the cup in a crew vehicle.
Ooh.
And the court actually said, we like Rowdy. He's a reliable person. We like him. The story must be true, and ruled in my favour. So, fuck yeah, Rowdy. I love you. Yeah, Rowdy was the witness, and that dude is awesome. And yeah, I'm all in favour of getting Rowdy on here to tell the account of the cup. But I don't think it's important. The important thing is that now Steen has to buy me a beautiful cocktail shaker with a paisley pattern that's silver and shiny and pretty, to replace the one that he took from me. And maybe he can give me like the coffee that I gave him as well back. I don't know, that might be a nice little touch. But the court didn't rule that. If he wants to, that's completely fine.
Well, the most important thing I think is that we have a new segment here. It's probably like the Blazing Court.
Blazing Court.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Every episode we can disputes and grievances.
Yeah.
Let's air it out. Yeah.
I was tempted to go to that court and argue why the fact is Rangers and Ranger are spelt the same way and get a ruling.
Yeah.
I was tempted to go to that court and argue why the fact is Rangers and Ranger are spelt the same way and get a ruling.
Oh, no, isn't it? Oh. Isn't Ranger spelt with a W?
Yep.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah. No, you know what? No, Ranger's spelled, it's Ranger, it's R-A-N-G-A-S. If you're spelling if you're spelling it the same as Rangers, then you clearly need to be up with the program.
Oh, right. Well, there you go.
Because it's a Ranger, like a orangutan.
So now we need to go to court.
You got to get like professional with your slurs and know the origins of your slurs. If you're going to call someone a Ranger, it's because they're an orangutan.
Ooh.
Get it right. You know what I mean? Like you're going to diss someone.
Well, there you go.
Make sure you know the origin of the diss.
So we got the first part of your segment there, Stevan.
Yeah. And I would like to state I am no way dissing Rangers.
No, not at all.
Quite fond.
All Rangers.
All Rangers.
We love Rangers, right?
Yeah, all Rangers. Yeah,
we love Rangers. All right, cool. Let's end it here. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Stevan.
It might be dangerous if we keep going.
See ya.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no problem. It was a good chat.
Yeah.
Thanks again to JayJay and Wesley and Aaron and Will and Ollie for coming on the podcast. Thanks, everyone. See you in the next episode where we review the Cosmic Coincidence Burn. And stay listening if you want to hear some more outtakes. Wait. Have we got other people joining in? You got
just me at the moment.
JayJay's coming, is it? Arts director?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I was rocked up because I knew you wanted some this afternoon, but I didn't really see any like the actual time. You may have sent it to me, but I might have missed it.
Yeah, it was about an hour ago, I think.
Yeah.
Well, we finished. I was speaking to Aaron and Will, so that was a good chat.
I left my shoes on.
Had a good poop. I've got a cup. What are we doing? Are we still talking about jizzing?
Maybe.
So
JayJay has popped in now.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool.
Sick. All right, cool.
Do you want me to hop off?
Grab a microphone. There should be multiple.
I'm actually JayJay's super bestie friend Josh.
Cool.
Yeah. I haven't been able to find JayJay all day. Hey, she's disappeared like she always does. What? You want me to sit down here?
Yep.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep. Oh, I can hear you. JayJay won't be able to yet.
Yeah, it's my first time.
Oh, right. Okay.
I came because JayJay said she was like, she's like, no, check out this thing, and I'm basically in charge of the whole thing.
Yeah, so I had a chat with Aaron earlier, and that was good.
Yep.
We talked about Kulin, and Blazing Swan and their experience, which is different to ours. You know,
absolutely.
We're from the city, and they're from right there.
I saw Aaron just before when I came up here.
And they've been to every single one except for one, I think, she said. And it was good to see the next generation. Hello.
Hey JayJay, come here. Yeah, my podcast here. Like, I'll get out of here and I'll let JayJay copyright for I'm really short. You're gonna have to. Okay, this is gonna be quite uncomfortable.
Just gonna have floating mics in your face.
I can hear some
preparations
going on.
Yep, JayJay's trying to get rigged up at the moment.
Yep, cool.
That's what's floating. Noise isolation.
So did you enjoy the Grundy walk?
I didn't see the Grundy walk, I'm afraid.
Oh, you missed it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm involved in some other things.
Right. But you're off duty, Dale. You said off.
No, I'm on duty currently. So I'd merely just turn my stuff off for this and let people know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Or Bran, or I don't remember. I yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
That
JayJay?
sucks now though, because now I can hear myself and be distracted by my own voice. But that's cool. We'll deal with that.
Mhm.
Tell Steven to sound check.
Steven, do a sound check, man. Slacker.
Sound check. Can you hear me? Sound check.
Yep.
Sound check.
Yep.
Check
Yep.
1, 2. Yep. Can you hear me? Cool.
Yep.
Hello.
I feel like I need a cushion. Oh, that's really loud. Have you got a cushion to put behind my head? This is really uncomfortable.
Are you guys sitting on the comfy couch?
We're sitting on a couch. We've just got mics floating.
Yeah.
It's
cool.
sort of like
So, grab a-
right attacking my face, but apparently that's how we need it. And the couch doesn't have back
what we
cushions,
could
so
do-
oh, yeah, lion! Excellent.
Oh,
Okay,
just
hang on.
move
Let me
back
just
in there.
let me just get old mate behind the yeah. Hang on, can I just touch that? Yeah, okay, cool. There's something laying back on. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys can hear me? Sound check. Hello.
Yep.
1, 2.
Yep.
No, that's not-
Excellent.
JayJay's just getting a cushion to get more comfy.
Cool.
I think we are now pretty good.
Sick, cool.
JayJay, how you going?
I'm good. I've had a rat bag day. It's not quite rat bag enough though, actually. So I'm aiming to get there.
You're gonna have to introduce yourself to the listeners in a second. So yeah, get comfy.
Who's listening? Who is it?
Well,
I like. Who is this
Well-
for? By the way.
Well, this is for the burn community. So you'll
Oh.
have some fans over the East Coast, maybe. You know.
Oh,
after this
so I should put
episode.
my responsible persona on.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Okay, cool. Done. Nice. I'm there.
Have you done something like this before?
A podcast? No.
Yeah, cool.
I've
We're just
I've
chatting
given
anyway.
my opinions out. I've given my opinions out a lot
Mhm.
before. I'm very good at that. So, yeah.
I think that's why you're invited.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And Wes, are you there as well? Are you all comfy?
I'm still here. I think PY is considering
Do we have-
a reset of things. No, he's all.
Yeah.
So yep, okay.
Do we? Are we waiting on? Are we waiting on one more, like Vita or anyone else coming?
No, I don't believe so.
No. Okay.